This is Abhishek, right? I'm your tutor. Are you folks able to hear me loud and clear? Hi Akhilesh, hi Joshua.
Hi, Abhishek. Yes, you are audible.
Great, that's great. Cool. So let's get going in the interest of time. And if I could introduce myself, and then probably I'd just like to know you folks as well. Maybe if you are interested, you could introduce yourself. Now, my name is Abhishek, and I have a total DevOps experience of about 9 years. My expertise is AWS and most of the DevOps tools that are there in the market. And I've been into the teaching field for about 4.5 to 5 years now. So I've already taken a lot of batches. And this entire lecture or the entire series would be around 45 hours long, right? And would contain everything from the very basics to the advanced topics that are needed for your day-to-day job when you join as a DevOps engineer or a site reliability engineer. Okay, would can I have maybe a few of you just introduce yourself, just your expectation, and yeah, yes, Akhilesh.
Yeah, so myself, Akhilesh, so currently I'm working as a IT admin. So actually, my requirement is currently we are also using the AWS platform, and we have an in-house DevOps engineer here. So I would like to support him. So that's why I choose. I was just googling. So how can I get to know the information regarding the DevOps and what are the tools? So
Sure.
that's why I registered to know how these things works. So I need to familiar with the tools, and I have to learn how these things works.
Cool, perfect.
So you are from?
I'm currently in Visakhapatnam,
Okay.
and that's Andhra, and yeah, that's basically myself. Cool. Anyone else wants to just introduce yourself, or I could get started? Maybe wait for 10 more seconds. If someone's unmuting themselves, then I'll give them the chance. Which doesn't look like the case. Anyways, welcome everyone, right, to the world of DevOps or SRE, Site Reliability Engineering, right? So this course is fundamentally based on Amazon Web Services. So the underlying infrastructure that we would be utilizing throughout this course would be Amazon Web Services. And then we would be looking into what DevOps is, what site reliability engineering is, and then take it from there. Right. So this is the world of AWS. This is how it looks like. We have infrastructure cloud computing, right? So we have cloud computing like Amazon Web Services. This is an Amazon. This is a infrastructure provider that we have. We have source repository or remote repositories that's also somewhere out there in the cloud. We have call it as Git, right? So one of the application that actually, or one of the vendors which is very famous is GitHub. You also have something like GitLab, you have Bitbucket and many other things. So that's one stuff there. If you are looking into some kind of an automation DevOps like Akhilesh was talking about, right? So all those engineers work on Terraform, Ansible, Docker, Kubernetes, Jenkins. Most of your work is based on Linux. Yes, there is also Windows, so on and so forth, right? It's
Can I interrupt?
yes.
I'm sorry. So you once we start into this, so you will give like you will teach us how the JIT works. So the GitHub is the tool, right, for the JIT?
Git is the tool, GitHub is the application. Like it's one of the providers.
Okay, fine. So you will be into this AWS Kubernetes. Every tool you will explain, right? How it is
Absolutely
connected.
yes. Absolutely yes.
Fine. Then okay, you can go ahead.
Right. So that is how it becomes, right? So let's actually try to understand like how to become a DevOps engineer, right? Not everyone here, right, is already working, right? There's a possibility that someone could be a fresher, someone could be from a non-IT background, someone could have, let's say, 5 6 years of experience in IT but in older technologies and is trying to upgrade, or like you, right, you already so Akhilesh already has the operations and all of that in him, right? So the ops is already there with Akhilesh. Basically he's looking for
Yeah,
more towards how he could get into the devs, how he could help in chip in and stuff like that, right?
correct. I have a little knowledge in Linux also, so that's why I stepped into the DevOps.
Yes, absolutely. That's a great choice, by the way. Right. So these are all the things. How does this happen? And there's also a term called a site reliability engineer. Right. So there are two different engineers. Now there is a very big difference between a DevOps engineer and a site reliability engineer. What is that? I myself, right, am a site reliability engineer. But what does that mean? My team in the firm that I work, right, the team is called as a DevOps team, but I am a site reliability engineer. What is the major difference? If you are from a development background wherein you know how to write a Python code, or you know right how to write a Java code, right? If you are a developer and then you know all the tools that I mentioned over here, then you become a DevOps or a developer who knows all the DevOps tools engineer. But let's say you are an admin person, right? You are an operations person, wherein you don't know Java, you don't know how to write a Java application, you don't know how JavaScript works, or you don't know how Node.js works, Python works, how Ruby on Rails, how PHP, how all of these stuff work, right? You don't know how to write the code, but what you know is definitely how the infrastructure is working. When I say infrastructure, in the terms, infrastructure means servers. If I have to further break down servers, that means basically CPU, memory, storage, and network. That is basically what it means. So if you're not from a development background, don't be sad. There is still place for you in the world of IT, wherein you can become a site reliability engineer. Now, who coined this word site reliability engineer? If you look at site reliability engineering, right, the first thing now that comes is this. But then the first company which started the term, or which coined the word site reliability engineering and named the engineer as site reliability engineer is Google itself. It is a Google term, right? So all the engineers in Google are called as site reliability engineers. They're not called as DevOps engineers, right? So there's a very slight difference. If you know development, very good, you become a DevOps engineer. If you don't know development, then also it is okay. You can still become a site reliability engineer, and the packages for both the DevOps engineer as well as the site reliability engineer are on par. When I say on par, it's almost all equal, right? If there are also chances where a site reliability engineer is earning a lot of money, obviously, because where do you find most of the site reliability engineers? In Google itself, right? So obviously Google packages are sky high. Now, what is DevOps, right? How many of you, if someone, if you could either do a raise of hands, or if you could just say yes, no, or type it down, how many of you know development, some part of code? How many of you are know that there is something like coding, programming? Okay, Naveen says yes, he knows it. Excellent, Naveen. Who else? Okay, still fine, right? Let's take an example. Let's say I I'm a client. Okay. And let's say Naveen, because he said he knows little bit of programming, right? Naveen is a developer. Okay. Let's say this is the thing. So what I say to Naveen is, I go on a call with Naveen. I'm the client. I say, Naveen, can you create me a HTML sample website wherein it is a static website. So basically, Naveen will say, yes, I can create. Excellent. So Naveen is going ahead and is going to create as a website for us. So Naveen will do his stuff, right? He will create something, right? Basically, what he will do is, if I type um, demo.demo.com, it will open a website for us, right? So that is the thing. Now that is exactly what the coding part is. This is what the code is, right? Wherein Naveen or anyone who is a developer is writing the code. That is the code part. Now, what is the build part? Now, the code that Naveen has written, right? Obviously, it is not a one single file, right? So development side of stuff. This is not DevOps work. This is still development side of work. Now, what Naveen will do is, before he gives the demo to me, right? Before he shows the website to me, he reaches to one of his teammates or a friend and says, "Hi, there. Like, this is the website that I created. Can you just check and tell me, is it looking okay or not?" That person will say, excellent, excellent, excellent. Everything is looking good. But did the client say red theme or did the client say blue theme? Now Naveen is also thinking. So he would go back to his notes, or he will look at the recording that he saw. He actually took when the client was talking. And what he finds out, the client wants a blue theme. And what Naveen has put is a red theme. So Naveen will make the changes. So the place where it was being tested, that is called the test phase, right? So testing is done. Naveen will do recoding, right? He will change the theme, very simple, but. He will change the theme of the website. If you want to see how easy it is to change the theme of a website, if I am able to open my website, so this is a small index.html page that I have. It's a very small file, just a 20-line file. Don't worry about the 20 lines, right? Or 30 lines of code that is there. What I want to show you is how easy it is to change the color. So this is the color pattern that I have. Let's say I want a greenish color, right? And let's say I want to change it as demo.com, right? So basically that is what I wanted to change. Did I misconfigure, mistype something? Yes, I think so. Right, so it is demo.com. Okay, that's it. Very simple, right? Looks perfect. So this is actually the green color, right? So how does the demo.com look? Let's actually open it on a website. I'll just double click, right? This is how it opens. Now, what did the client ask? The client asked the blue theme. So very simple. Click on this, click on this. This is what Naveen is doing, right? He's very clever. He does it in like 2 seconds. All done. So he selected the color, he saved the file. He'll just reload the page and it's a blue thing, right? So welcome to batch blah 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 demo.com. That is how easy it is to test. That is how easy it is to develop. But then what happens is, obviously we can't provide this file to the client and say, here, this is your file, this is your website, right? Name. That is not how it is supposed to work, because the client should be able to access it on his own browser. Now, we can't send our laptop to his home or to his office so that he can test it. He wants to check that on a remote repository. That place where the file is hosted and the client is able to host it, right? So there is a lot of process behind it. That process is called as provisioning. What is provisioning? So basically, you actually need a server. Where will we create the server? In our case, right, in this day and age, Amazon Web Service is one of the places where you can create those servers. What are the other places where you can create those servers? You can create the servers in Google Cloud. You could create the servers on Azure. You could create the servers on Alibaba. You could create the server somewhere else, somewhere else, somewhere else. There are many places. Who is the market leader? Amazon Web Services is the market leader, right? So this is a place where you can create your server. Once you create the server, you have to do some installation. You have to do all of that. Who knows all that step? Naveen knows, because he knows how to develop it. So he also knows how to run it, right? So he's going to tell us all the steps, what we need to do so that we can run it on the server. This is how operations work. This is Amazon Web Services. Now, when it comes to Amazon Web Services, right, it is a cloud technology. It has many services inside it, right? You have very big names like VPC, Virtual Private Cloud. You have names like EC2, Elastic Compute Cloud. You have S3, Simple Storage Service, right? You have all these big names, right? But don't get worried about it. The course is designed in such a way that you would get an exposure of all the major services that are used in a planned manner. Like everything is connected, we will go one dot at a time, right? So everything would be interconnected. Now basically, if you're going in as a DevOps engineer or a site reliability engineer with Amazon Web Services background, right, what is the expectation that the company that is going to hire you folks, or the team which is going to take you in, is expecting? They would expect that you know some kind of network engineering. They will expect that you know some kind of storage. They'll expect that you will have some kind of system engineering, database engineering, cloud architect. In early days, right, what used to happen is the network engineering team was different. The storage engineering team was different. The system engineering team was divided into two teams. One team was only Windows, one team was only Linux. Then there was database engineers. In that also there was Oracle database specialist, MySQL database specialist, this database, that database. There are multiple database specialists. Then there was someone who was an architect. He used to design everything. Today, what is happened is all the teams, right, have gone away. There is one person or one engineer who is responsible for taking care of all of this. That is the only reason the package for a site reliability engineer or a DevOps engineer is almost all 5 to 6 times that of a normal engineer who was working 5 to 6 years ago. Right? Why? Because that single person can do all of these engineering tasks. He can do everything on his own. That is the only reason why the packages are skyrocketing, right? So this is what is happening now. After the course, right, would you be able to tick all the boxes? Absolutely yes. I will make sure that you are very strong in networking, the network part. You're very strong at the storage part. You're very strong with the system administration. You're very strong with the database engineering. You're very strong with the cloud architect. And because you also need DevOps skills, you need all the tools that are there that I talked. Not just AWS, not just AWS. This is not going to help you sustain. Along with that, you also need all the DevOps tools. The first DevOps tool that we have is Git or GitHub. Git is the tool, GitHub is the vendor, or GitHub is the application that we do. Who owns GitHub? Microsoft owns GitHub. Right? They bought GitHub for some $1 billion or something in 2019 or 20, basically. What is going to happen here? Let's say, so Naveen has created the code, right? So where will Naveen keep it? Naveen will keep it in a repository, a central repository, which can be accessed by others in the team, because let's say I'm his teammate, right? I will not go to Naveen's home to make changes to the file, right? So Naveen has to put it in the center place. And then Naveen will also not trust me with the file, right? Because I can make any changes. So there should be some tracking of what changes have gone through. That is where versioning comes into play, version control, right? So we'll see what version control is, how that is happening. We'll see all of that, right? Now, so this is where the version control or the source code is coming, right? So the source code is not just needed for the developer, it is also needed for the site reliability engineer and the DevOps engineer. Why? Because the provisioning that we did, right? The same provisioning, like the creating of a server, right? You can do it from the graphical user interface from the AWS console, or you can write a code called as infrastructure as code, which is using Terraform to create that thing. Now, where will you write this code? Obviously, if you write this code, you have to put it into a central location again. That central location is Git or GitHub. GitHub basically, or GitLab or something else or something else. Got it? So this is how it is going to happen. This is Terraform. Now, let's say there is another very good technology that has come through. It was in the year 2018, 2019 when I heard it for the first time, Docker, right? And it is an excellent tool. Let's say Naveen is a Java developer, right? And he does Java development and all of that. So he has created a Java application. The Java application needs Java version. I don't know what the latest version is, but let's say it needs Java version 8.4.9 to run. If it is one version above, it is not going to run. If it is one version below, it is not going to run. The problem is it is working in Naveen's laptop. It is not working in my laptop. It is not working on the client's server. Why? Because the Java version on the client server is 8.5.0.1. On my version is something else, let's say. Right. I'm very interesting person, so I upgraded to the latest version. What is the latest version of Java? I think Java 11 is what is doing rounds in the Java latest version, right? So it is Java 21. Oh God, I took a very old example. No, I'm not to blame because I also learned Java, but I learned it in 2013 or something. And at that time, it was Java 7 dot something, and Java 8 was new, right? Now, what is contain? Docker. Docker is a containerization technology wherein we can we can compress all the application into a small container, and that container can be shipped across to multiple places. What does it actually mean by shipped, right? The container can be uploaded to a repository, right? It's not Git, but it can be uploaded to a repository, and I can download it from that repository. The client server can also download it from the same repository. Now, what is going to happen if I can download the container, right? You can visualize this as the container that you see over here, the big containers that actually is used on the shipping ones, right? The container is the same, right? The only thing is a copy of it was made and it was uploaded to a central location. It was downloaded from the central location. So basically that is Docker. What does Docker give? The Docker gives you the freedom of choosing your own application, choosing your own libraries, choosing your own thing, and coexisting it with other things. What does that mean? Let's say um, I am working on one feature on the same application, demo.demo.com. Naveen is also working on this some one feature, demo.demo.com. Akhilesh is also working on some feature, right? So all three of us are basically working on three different things, but it is the same application. The client will look at the same thing. Now, I for my thing, right, or for my feature, right, it is only available in, let's say, version 21. For Naveen's feature, it is available in version 7.9 because it is the main thing, right? So main development, it is working there. For Akhlesh's one, it is only going to work in version 19. Now, can all three of our applications run on the same server? Absolutely not possible, right? But if you use Docker, what we can do, he can ship his own container, I can ship my own container, someone else can ship his own container, and everything will come together, and that is now Docker. Now that can run on the same server because it does not has any dependency. It provides an isolated environment, right? Where is containerization coming here? Containerization is coming over here, right? It is coming in the operate section, containerization. But obviously someone has to create that container, right? So it will also come in the development phase, right? But it is over here. The next tool that we have is Jenkins. Let's take this example. I'll give a scenario. Whoever wants to answer can answer, right? So let me take that scenario. Uh, let's say I'm hiring for my team. I'm hiring people, right? Which is excellent. Now what happens is, let's say I hire two freshers and I'm not able to get any experienced people, and I want them to work from tomorrow. But then, do they know Terraform? No. Do they know GitHub, Git, everything? No. Right? If they don't know all of these things, right, would it be easy for them to work from day one? The answer is obviously no. Right? But then, is it easy for them to log into a website, click on a link, and then click on build option or something like that? Is it easy in that scenario? Right? Do you feel that is easy?
No.
I'll show you, right? So it's very easy. It's very easy in sense. Give me 1 second. I'll just go Jenkins. Let me check for some images, right? Let's say all you have to do is log into this website. So I'll give you the link for this website. Let's say, right? I give you the link for this website, which is this. Am I able to open it? Yeah. And you just have to click on this build now option that is there. Are you able to see the build now option? You just have to click on this. Now can you work? Now can the fresher work? It's like I give you the link of Facebook. You just have to go to Facebook and click on add friend. That's it. Is it easy or not?
Yeah.
Right? So this is what Jenkins is going to provide you. Jenkins is going to provide you the ease of running and visualizing everything on the graphical user interface, because all the Terraform, all the Docker, and all the things that you're going to do, right, you have to interact with the black screen. What is the black screen? The black screen is nothing but the terminal. You have to interact with the terminal a lot. Now it's taking some time. You need to interact with this terminal a lot, right? What is this terminal? uh, Linux based terminal, right? So you need to do all of these stuff. Do I have something called as OS release? No, I don't have it, right? Right? You need to interact with this. You need to type Docker. You need to type Docker. You need to type. Okay, Docker is there. Okay, you need to type Terraform hyphen version. You need to type all of these things. But who's going to type all of these things? If you can do it from a click of a button, that click of a button kind of a thing is provided by Jenkins, right? Very important thing. Now, the beauty about our course is we will run the Jenkins inside Docker. When Docker is running, right? When there is a particular concept, when a particular concept comes, I would be running Jenkins inside Docker so that one, you learn Jenkins, two, you also learn how Docker can be used and is used in production environments. Fair task, fair ask or not? This is how I have planned the course. So all both of these two are interlinked as in such. So Jenkins is one thing. Then you have something called as Kubernetes. Now Kubernetes is a very latest technology. It is nowhere fitting in this diagram also. But then Kubernetes comes with orchestration, containerization itself. Let's say, what is Kubernetes? Kubernetes is container orchestration. What is container? Docker. Docker was the container, right? So the container is here, right? So this was the container, right? So this is the Docker container. Now this Docker container, let's say for some reason you're supposed to run 28 containers, right? I don't know why I took the number 28, but let's say 28 containers have to run. Suddenly 5 containers stop, but you don't know which 5 stop. You need to start those 5 containers. So you would have to go through the entire list. You first have to get a list of all the running containers. Then you have to check your list, which container is running, which is not running, who is not running. Then you have to call Naveen, or then you have to call me, and then you have to call Lokesh and ask, hey, this is not working. What should I do? Then they will say, okay, run this command and it will fix it. Then you run the command, right? And then it fixes. What if all this automatically happened, right? It's not like Kubernetes is going to call Lokesh or Akhilesh, right? So it's not going to happen like that. But let's say Kubernetes takes the decisions, right? Let's say we say 5 containers have to run. If one of them stops, Kubernetes will start the container automatically. It's not going to ask you or wake you up in the midnight at 1 a.m. or 2 a.m. and say, hey, one container stop, start it. It will not even say which container stop. It will just say one container. No, it's not going to happen like that. Kubernetes is capable of orchestration, right? Very, very, very latest technology this is. Kubernetes is a very latest technology. If you know the bare basics of Kubernetes, you would be very much welcomed into any DevOps team, right? Any person is going to hire you if you know the basics of Kubernetes. That is a guarantee. Then you have something called as Ansible. Ansible is like used for automation and all of that task. Okay, so it's also a very good tool, excellent one when it comes to automation and all of that thing. Let me give you an example, right? And probably you can relate to this Ansible story. Let's say who all are there on the call? Who has not spoken yet? Akhilesh, Naveen have spoken. Let's say Ashika and Malik, Naveen and Akhilesh and myself, right? All 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. All five of us are working on the inner team. Okay, excellent. One day security person, the security team, right, let's say corporate admin, right, so they are the security team. Let's say they give us a call, they send us an email saying that, hey, there is a big vulnerability, you need to fix it as early as possible. The only problem is we have around 5,000 servers running in our environment. We can't fix 5,000 servers. One single person cannot do it. Okay, it is still fine. So the security team is very good, right? They also give you the fix. They tell run this command on all the 5,000 servers so that it can be fixed. The problem is, even if 5 of us distribute the work equally, each of one will have 1,000 servers to fix. And what is the problem on top of it? Security team, right, in any organization, security team will say do it in next 10 minutes or do it in next 1 day, do it in next 2 days. So that's the language that they speak. Now how many of you are willing to work the entire day, like morning shift, night shift, all shifts, so that you can complete all the 1,000 servers? Anybody is willing to do it in our team? Akhilesh, Naveen, Ashika, Malik? I can say for myself, I am not willing to do it.
Same here.
Same here, right? Then
Yes,
how
please.
will we do it? What is the fix? Now the good thing is the security team has given you the command that has to be run. Oh, there is something called as Ansible, which is there in the market, where you could write a small script, right? It's obviously a script that you need to write, and then you could run it against all the 5,000 servers at a single go, right? The script will take, let's say, 2 minutes to run on each server, right? Overall, to run on all the 5,000 servers, it can take anywhere between 10 to 15 minutes, and it will give you the output. It will also give you the output, how many of them it failed, how many of them it passed. If let's say it failed on 10 servers, 10 servers, 5 of us can distribute and check why it failed, right? Or for those failure also, you can write the code in such a way that it will fix that failure and then it will again run the script. That's the beauty of it, right? So that Ansible can be used. Now the security team was expecting us to do it by end of Friday, which is tomorrow, end of day. What we do, we run it, we write the script in 1 hour, we run it against 5,000 servers, let's say in another half an hour. We'll take coffee break in between, right? While the script is running, we'll go for a coffee break, we'll come back, and then we'll say, okay, 4,980 servers are completed. 20 servers will do it by the end of day tomorrow. Is it looking good? Yes. Right. That is the power of Ansible. That is the power of automation. That is the power of configuration management. Yes, we can explore some small Python scripting and programming if everyone is interested. Then there is also very small bash scripting and bash programming or small scripting that we will see how that is done, how to navigate through it, how to actually implement it on the AWS server side. We'll actually be looking at a small bash script. This is just to give you a very small understanding of how the entire thing works. So over and all, right, this is the slide that I had for the day, and this is what DevOps is all about, right? Now, do you think there is so the site reliability engineer? I you just have it on your screen, right? It is sre.google, right? It is from Google's own ship, right? So basically, Google itself created that term, site reliability engineer. DevOps obviously is a practice, right? Now, do we think there are openings? If you see, I just filtered for AWS DevOps and site reliability engineer. I already have 1,452. Why only 1,452? Because I cloud both AWS and site reliability. If you only want that, you also have that. If you only want this, you also have that. You also have work from home. You also have hybrid. You also have remote. Right? Everything is there. And the best part is the packages. If you see, for 7 to 12 years, it is 25 to 40 lakhs. Great. But even if it is less experience, right? If it is a fresher, then also you are more than welcome with a very decent package of around 14 lakhs, 10 lakhs is what I have basically seen. If you are a total fresher, then obviously it would be industry practice, right? So whatever is being provided for you in the industry, that is what we would be getting. But basically, this is what we have. Now, what would help you clear an interview, right? Uh, so the entire classes that we have, right, it is about 45 hours, right? So I'll just give you a sneak peek of how the catalog looks like. So this is how I've broken down everything: Amazon Web Services, AWS Cloud, and DevOps tools. So basically, this is how it is broken down into networking basics. We actually would cover 3 to 4 days, so 3 to 4 hours based strictly on networking. We'll start networking tomorrow, right? In networking, we'll be discussing a lot of stuff. You would be surprised. I would be starting by comparing your mobile phone and your laptop. And once everyone is clear what is the similarities and differences between your mobile phone and your computer, then we will compare your computer and your server. Right. So basically, we have a comparison between a mobile phone, a laptop, and a server. Right. That is where we start. So if you have a phone in your hand, then you are in good hands, basically. Right. So AWS Cloud is next. We would spend around 20 hours. Git and GitHub, 1 hour, right? So we'll just have the basics of it. Anyways, you would be writing and pushing your code into GitHub only, right? So whatever we do here is a building block. Terraform, we would use that infrastructure as code to create that infrastructure in an automated way. So that is something that we'll do. We have Docker. We'll spend around 5 hours for that. Jenkins will spend around 2 to 3 hours. Kubernetes will spend some around 5 hours, and Ansible will spend around 2 hours fixing all of this. Right. So this is basically what we have. Along with this, you also need some Linux basics or Linux fundamentals. Do let me know if you are looking for that, right? So we would also try to help you get some expertise on Linux as well, right? This is how the entire catalog looks like. Everything is detailed very much. I would be sticking to every bit and piece of it. We'll be discussing everything, every subtopic which is written on this sheet, right? So it has 9 pages. We'll be discussing every point, right? So this is how the entire thing is going to be. Any questions for me?
Hi sir, good evening, Naveen here.
Yeah, Naveen.
Sir, like, is there any like monitoring tools are available for the sessions, sir, of the course I'm saying about?
We already so there is a monitoring available for AWS CloudWatch. So we would be
Okay.
discussing that when we discuss AWS. That is there.
Okay.
Anything outside is not there. But
Okay.
if you are interested,
Yeah.
after the course, right, maybe we could try to explore it, right? So
Yeah. One more question, sir. Like, is there any mandatory skill to learn like Python for going for DevOps, sir?
mandatory, no.
No.
Is
Yeah.
it 100% needed? No. But if you know it,
Okay.
it's added advantage. But if you, it's not 100% needed. No, it's not like that.
Okay. Fine, sir. Thank you. And like after the session, sir, I'm saying about like after completion of the course, like can we do like any kind of like projection based on that, sir?
I would be guiding you the entire thing, right? The course is designed in such a way that you,
Okay.
by the end of the course, right, you would be
Yeah.
creating a production environment of its own,
Okay.
right?
Okay.
So you
Okay.
would be creating. The only thing is,
Okay.
because you know individual topics, you have to club all the topics together, and then it will come a very nice project would come, right? So that is
Okay.
how the entire course is there. In the course itself, you have a project.
Okay. Fine. Thank you, sir.
Ashika, you want to ask something? Malik, you want to ask something? Say something. Akhilesh, any questions? Maidili, and obviously we have the corporate admin.
So while just one doubt. So currently, because I already told you that we have a DevOps engineer here. So he's doing the code pull and push everything. He's doing these things. So me also. So when I do the when we start the class sessions, you also teach the how to push the code or pull the code or everything.
Yes. So if you see, we actually had Git and GitHub one hour, one day.
Okay.
We'll cover everything in that, right? Pushing and pulling the code is like one small command, that's it, right? It's very easy, but then you have to understand why we are doing it, and then it becomes very easy.
Will you give any kind of like homework or something like that so we can get to it?
Yes.
Because once I learned the Red Hat, the Linux, so there is Ansible also was there. But I'm not, I'm not good in the Ansibles because it was the last few session, it was Ansible, but there is few doubts. So whenever I have a doubt, I can ask you directly in person, or we will create a group. How we can clarify the doubts. So after the session, I am asking.
Absolutely. I guess the best person to answer is someone from the HR or the admin team for that. But there is an open communication is what I know, right? So you can reach out to me, and we are happy to discuss all the doubts. So in general, what happens is every day class, last 15 minutes are reserved for doubts. Now, if that is also not, if that is not sufficient, and if we have to, let's say, extend, we can extend, right? Or else we could say, okay, next week Thursday we'll discuss doubts only, or we'll discuss this topic, or we'll discuss this, and that's how we can do it, right? I'm very flexible. It's not that I'll just teach and you will just hear and then we'll go away. No, it's not like that. It is a two-way communication is how the entire classes are designed.
Okay. One more thing. Actually, I'm not a quick learner, so that's why I'm asking. So after
I'm also not a quick teacher. I take my own sweet time.
Okay. So my concern is, do I get a recorded session after this so I can refer? So normally once the session complete, then some doubts get popped up out. So I have to go to the video. Then okay. So these are the things.
I guess the demo, I am not sure if it was recorded, but
not the demo. This session we can lively access any kind of.
I'll
do you
check
guys keep any kind of
Yeah, I'll check with the team, right? How that is shared and everything. If it is not shared, then I'll try to push for that. I'll check with the team.
And
No
Andy, if there is any materials to
yeah,
go
all
through.
the slides that I refer obviously would be presented to you folks as well, right?
Okay.
And I guess that would be a good starting point. And if in case we need more stuff, I could always help you folks. Anyways, so 90% you have the recordings is what I know, right? So I'll double check on that, and you would then be able to refer to that and write your running notes. But when the class is going, you don't have to take any notes and anything. If you could just look at the screen and try to grasp as much as possible, that would be excellent, I would say.
Okay, fine. Yeah, that's it from my side. Thank you, Abhishek.
Thanks, Akhilesh. Thanks.
Sir, I have doubts. Sir.
Yes, Ashika. Good evening.
Will you provide real-time projects and placements, sir?
Yes. I'm not the best person to answer this project. Yes. We would be doing the course in such a way that you have projects ready made for you, right? So if you can showcase, or if you could tell whatever you did in the entire 45-day class, right? It's like a boot camp, let's say. If you can tell that in an interview, excellent. Can I know your background? Are you fresher or experienced, Ashika?
Fresher, sir.
Okay. Yeah. I have projects, right? So don't worry about that. So I would be providing you with all those details. Right.
Okay, thank you, sir.
Excellent. Because the requirement is not the same for an experienced person, the requirement is slightly different for a fresher, right? A fresher, yes, they need a project because that is what they can put. For experienced folks, a project doesn't make any worth on the resume, right? So it's a two-way game, but good thing I could assist both the folks. No problem. Malik?
Hello.
Hello?
Yes, Abhishek.
Yes, sir. Any questions? Anything?
Yeah, till
like
now I
this?
think seems to be okay. What about for people who are into the consultancy or management level?
For them also, this is an excellent course. Why? Um, if you are already a manager, or if you are already into that tier, right? So basically, if there is someone in your team, if they are stuck somewhere, right, then obviously you could give those feedbacks. Okay, did you check that? Did you add this? Have you checked that security group? Did you do that? Did you do this? So all of those things is much more needed, right? So for all folks, it is needed. It's a great thing, because I myself am a tech lead, right? So, and my manager is like very close to me, so I know that is how you need to be. If the manager is technical and if he is leading a tech team, then excellent, right? You are in a very, very good shape. But if you're not technical and we are trying to manage a tech team, then it becomes matlab, if you know Telugu, then they give you biscuit, right? If you know the technology, then you can catch those biscuits,
Okay, thank you, Abhishek.
right? So no one can give you a goalie, basically. And could you could you quickly tell me about yourself? Like, so you are already into the management side, in the people management side, or?
No, basically, I'm a IT consultant.
Okay. Mm-hmm.
I was working in Gulf from last 2 decades.
Oh, nice. Nice.
So, yeah, so I'm having some existing clientels back in Middle East.
Mm-hmm.
And as you know, the DevOps is a new upcoming technology. So we have to do some sort of re-engineering of the projects there.
Understood. Then you are in a very good place, because if you have a blanket understanding of everything, right?
Yes.
Then you can suggest that on to the clients, and they can then take it. Because let's say the project starts, they move to the cloud, but they do it some other way. And if we have to introduce these tools in, let's say, after 2 years, then it is a very, very big headache. And
Right.
I've been to that headache. It's a very big mess. Docker Kubernetes is still okay, but if you have to introduce Terraform in between, like after 2 years, you are introducing Terraform to something in AWS, then it's a very big headache.
Right.
Same thing goes with Git and everything, right? So yeah, I guess you are the best person for this course.
Yeah, definitely. Thank you.
Cool. So I guess I've heard everyone speak except for the admin team. I know I should not dare to have a word, but yeah, if there's nothing else from anyone, then we could connect tomorrow.